AITA for refusing to let my estranged mother meet my child after she abandoned me 20 years ago. I, 29F, am really struggling with a tough decision right now, and I don't know if I'm being too harsh. This is kind of a long story, so bear with me. When I was 9, my mom just up and left. No warning, no explanations. One day she was there, making breakfast like usual, and the next, she was gone. I remember waking up to my dad's panic as he realized she wasn't coming back. She didn't leave a note, didn't pack her things, nothing. It was like she vanished off the face of the earth. It shattered me in ways I can't even begin to describe. My dad did his best to pick up the pieces, but he was as lost as I was. We were both grieving, trying to understand what we'd done wrong, why she'd abandoned us. Dad threw himself into his work, trying to keep the lights on and food on the table, but he never missed a parent-teacher conference or a soccer game. He was my rock, and we grew really close because of it. We were like partners in a silent, shared trauma. I spent years wondering what happened. As a kid, I would sit by the window, hoping she'd come back, that maybe it was all just a mistake. But as time passed, the hope faded, and bitterness took its place. When I was a teenager, I tried reaching out to her. I sent letters, I even found her on Facebook and sent messages, but there was never a reply. Not even a seen notification. After a while, I just stopped trying. It was clear she didn't want anything to do with me. Fast forward to now. I'm married to a wonderful man, and we just had our first baby, a beautiful little girl named Lily. She's everything I ever dreamed of, and becoming a mom has been the most amazing, overwhelming experience. I'm doing everything I can to be the best mom possible, but there's always this nagging fear of not being enough, of messing up like my mom did. Out of nowhere, about 2 months after Lily was born, I got a letter from my mother. I didn't even recognize the handwriting at first. She wrote that she found out I had a baby and wanted to reconnect. In the letter, she apologized for leaving all those years ago, but the apology felt empty. She said she had personal reasons for leaving, though she didn't bother to explain what they were. She claimed she'd changed and wanted to be a part of my life again, especially now that I have a daughter. Reading that letter, I was furious. After 20 years of radio silence, she suddenly wants to play grandma? I was so angry, I ripped the letter into pieces and threw it in the trash. My husband, Mark, found the shredded remains later and asked what happened. When I told him, he was shocked but tried to be understanding. He said maybe I should at least hear her out, that people can change, and maybe it would be good for Lily to know her grandmother. But I just can't see how I can trust someone who abandoned me like that. How can I introduce this woman, who walked away from her own child without a second thought, to my daughter? I told Mark there was no way she was coming near our family. Since then, she's been trying to contact me more. She sent more letters, emails, and even showed up at our house once. I refused to open the door, and I made it clear she's not welcome. I felt so violated. It was like she was trying to force her way back into my life without even giving me a chance to process everything. It's like she thinks saying, "I'm sorry," is some magic spell that erases 20 years of abandonment. The problem is now some of my extended family members are getting involved. My aunt, who used to be close with my mom before she disappeared, reached out and told me that I'm being too harsh. She said my mom had been going through a lot back then, hinting at some sort of mental health crisis, but she wouldn't get specific. She begged me to give her a second chance, if not for my sake, then for Lily's. Even Mark, who's been my rock through all of this, has started to soften his stance. He says maybe I'm letting my anger cloud my judgment, and that I might regret not at least hearing her side of the story. I can't deny that my anger is a huge part of this. I'm still that hurt little girl in so many ways, and the thought of letting her back in terrifies me. I don't want to open that door only for her to hurt me, or worse, hurt my daughter. But then I think about Lily, and I wonder if I'm being selfish. Maybe I'm letting my own pain dictate what's best for her. I don't want Lily to grow up feeling like she's missing something or wondering why she doesn't have a grandma like other kids. But I also don't want her exposed to someone who's proven she can't be trusted. And what if she decides to leave again? I can't let my daughter go through the same pain I did. I've spent so many sleepless nights going over this in my head. I even started therapy recently because it's all been too much to handle on my own. My therapist says I need to set boundaries that I'm comfortable with, but I still don't know what those boundaries should look like. Part of me wants to slam the door shut forever and protect my family from the heartbreak I know she's capable of. But another part of me can't shake the guilt of wondering if I'm doing the wrong thing. So, AITA for refusing to let my estranged mother meet my child after she abandoned me 20 years ago? Should I give her the chance to explain? Or am I right to keep her out of our lives for good? Any advice would be deeply appreciated.